Hi everybody and welcome to my Unruly Housewife channel, and today I am going to show you how to do this cracked edge technique for decorating things. Here I've done quite sort of chunky swirly pendants, but this technique can be used in sort of straight lines, wiggly lines. You can use it to decorate boxes or jars. You can use it as you will. I'll show you the technique, you work out how to apply it. You will need to have a nice sharp blade, a clay extruder. I'm using a Makins, but it doesn't really matter what kind of extruder you use, that's up to you. I'm using a 3mm round hole in mine. Some people like to use the little slot shaped ones, but I prefer this. And I'm running the extrusion through a pasta machine. Yeah, you could use a little rolling pin if you wanted, but I think that's going to be too hard. Okay, let me take these away and I'll show you what I've done so far. This is my clay. It's Fimo Professional and Fimo things, I don't know, different sorts of Fimo clay. Don't worry about it. Just a decent brand of clay is all you need, and you can use up some little odds and ends of scraps. It's good to have a good contrast, and I've used about a marble sized amount of each colour, and half of it I've already put to use and the other half is here, so you get quite a lot. So I'm using amounts that sort of big, but once you chop them up they really do go a long way. Once you have your colours like this, you need to mix them up, and I would not put your hands on them too much if you can help it. I would use your blade to mix up the colours. I don't have as much white because white really pops, and I don't want it to do that too much. So I'm chopping those colours up a little bit more as well if I see that they're really chunky. But I'm trying to keep my hot little hands off them because I don't want it to end up in a huge mush yet. Okay, so make sure it's distributed fairly well. That looks pretty good to me. And now you are going to squash it together, form it into a shape to put it into your extruder. And that's what I'm doing now. This is a fun part. This is where if the video goes wrong, I'll be like, no, my chopped up clay. Alright, so let's do that. Here's my extruder. Pop it into the extruder. I got a bit too much there. I won't wind the extruder back because the noise that it makes is grim. And then I'll just put in this little thing, that little thing there, and then I turn the handle on my extruder and out it will come. Now there's going to be a horrible squeak, probably all my cats will run into the room, but you can see that's extruding, and those colours will come through, if you can see that, in separate ways. Now, due to my fantastic extruding technique that's already cracked, but that's fine. So that's what we're doing. We're making an extrusion like this. Okay, now I'll move this out of the way because I've already made some earlier. Here are the extrusions that I've already made, and it might be an idea, if your clay feels rather soft and it's not as kind of cracked and dry as mine already looks, for you to let your clay rest a bit after extruding it. I'm now going to put it through my pasta machine, and oh, you'll notice here I've got some copper clay. Don't worry about that, we'll sort that out in a minute. I'm going to put this through my pasta machine. I've got an Atlas 150. It goes from 0 upwards, 0 being the thickest. I'm running this through at number 2, so that'll give you an indication of how thick. But you know what, you can put it through at several different things. I mean, I put that through at number 2, I put that through at number 3. You can fool around with it and see what you want to do. This one I kind of made into a square almost. That's what I mean, you can use this to cover boxes and things, and or tessellate if it's a square. Okay, so I'm going to run this through the pasta machine. when I put it through, I did twist it slightly as well, a little bit, just so that I got some different colours to the front, if you know what I mean. So that wasn't ideal. It's really very crumbly, my clay, but that's quite good for what we want. So now you would want to put that into a circle if we were making this pendant, but as I said, you could put it in straight lines. You know, it depends what you want to use it for. This is the basic thing we're making here. So I will put this into a circle, and I'm going to try and make the middle as tight as possible, and I'm going to hope that it doesn't snap. If it does snap though, I should just, like it did there, I should just carry on, because the fact that it's so cracked means that it doesn't really matter too much. Let me just bring this round, and I just roll like that. Mine is really quite crumbly. There you go. If you get a little piece like that, you can just add the next bit on. It's going to be fine. Turn that round. I'm using it on the tile because I want it to stay reasonably flat. I'm putting my fingers on it a bit, but I'm trying not to squish it too much, because the crackle and the round edge of the crackle is all part of the decoration. You can just see underneath. Actually, underneath is a really pretty colour. So that's another thing you can change, because that's just seems to be quite orange to me. The underneath looks a bit prettier. So I'm going to swap that over now and start using that as my top. I'm a rebel. I'm going to run some more through the pasta machine. Oops. Okay, here I have some more, and I'm going to add this to my little circle. That's come out quite nicely. Add a bit more. Trying to make it match up so it's not too weird. Let's take that off there. Okay, so that's one side, that's the other side. You can choose which side you want. I tried to keep it flat. I didn't make a very good job of it there, but you'll be able to take your time a little bit more than me. I'm going to choose this side, I think, just because it's more dimensional. And now I want to add this, and this is my edging. I'm going to put tapers. That's the word I'm looking for, so it tapers. And then put this round. I'm going to put the join in the same place. This has a slightly cracked edge too, but I'm not worried about that because I really think it fits. It looks good. That would go round there, and I can just snip it off with my blade. That went really well, actually. Notice I sound surprised. Okay, so I just push this all together. It's a good thing about clay, you can really mess around with it and it doesn't mind too much. Just flatten it down onto the table a little. Okay, so that's made an edging for my clay. And then what I would do next is take a section of unflattened clay, and I'm going to make something like this, a bale. That one's quite big, isn't it? So I would roll that out with my finger, taper the edges, and then find something to roll it round now. Let me see, a cocktail stick might be good for this because it's actually quite a small pendant, isn't it? You can use anything to wind it round. If you've got a chunky pendant, you can use something a bit bigger. So I'd wind that round the cocktail stick like that until it makes a bale, and then fit your bale onto your pendant like that. Now I've got some white involved with that which I didn't really want on there, but and as I always say, you'll have more time and you'll do it better. Just keep that in there for a minute while I squish it on. Give it some support. And there you have your pendant. What I did with my other ones was I made some little round balls just to add interest. I just cut them off my extrusion because that helps them to stay the same size. Now I didn't say you'd need a ball tool, but you will now if you want to do this. And just pop these on. Oh, there's a cat just jumped on the windowsill. Great. I like to pop them on this sort of bottom left hand as I'm looking at it. To the bail. It's just really what you want to do. You might want to put leaves or plants or something across it. That would look cute. So there you have it. In a reasonably short time, a cute little pendant. Pop it into the oven. Just put it on a piece of paper so that it doesn't go shiny on the back. I put mine on a tile. You might do yours on a baking tray, on a piece of cardstock, maybe on a baking tray, and cook according to the manufacturer's instructions. I do, which I've done here, which I'll also just show you for a second. Also do, if you want to, is just use a little bit of copper. This is copper coloured clay, but I like to put a little bit of copper coloured perfect pearls on it. Try not to get it on the orange, because I find metallic clays can be a little bit disappointing sometimes when they come out of the oven. So do that, do it more carefully than me. And that's ready to be fired. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this, do like, give me the thumbs up, whatever it is, subscribe, leave your comments down below, and I will see you again another time. Bye bye.